Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom of California continues to skyrocket in terms of attention, polling, and fundraising for bringing the fight to Trump, earning praise from Bill Maher during the most recent episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, and yet weeks later, still triggering MAGA Fox News hosts on their own shows into total meltdowns. They're still getting triggered. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, let's start with Bill Maher here, who's celebrating Newsom, and then we'll get into the Fox News folks getting triggered as hell.
There's a new game being played by Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is now trolling Trump. I've never seen a Democrat do this. I think it's very funny. Can you show some of the Newsom tweets that he's been putting out there? Okay, he's imitating Trump's exact style. I mean, like this is Newsom, and he will fail as he always does. Sad. And I, the peacetime governor, our nation's favorite, will save America once again. Many are calling me he's Gavin Newsom, many say the most loved and handsome governor. Now, I feel like Gavin has grasped the essential thing about American culture in this day and age. Don't try to outsmart people. You have to outstupid them.
That even earned a laugh from Christopher Rufo, of all people, just this right-wing Trump-supporting propagandist. He's the guy behind the DEI and CRT crazes, okay? Yeah, so I'm with Bill Maher on this. I think this is really good. I think that Newsom is meeting the moment here, understanding that Democratic politicians are generally much smarter than Republican politicians. Certainly, Donald Trump, the president, is a profoundly stupid person who's outwitted in terms of IQ and other measures of intelligence by pretty much every Democratic opponent he's come up against. And yet right now, it's really not about that. It's about being a bigger bully, at least with respect to getting attention. So before we see how it's paying off in terms of the hard numbers, I want to show you, again, some recent clips in the past 48 hours of MAGA Fox News hosts still getting triggered by Newsom. They haven't picked up on it yet.
Here with reaction, Fox News contributor Joe Concha. So if you want to trigger Newsom, and I'm finding this very entertaining, I'm loving every minute. I want him to do this every day. If you want to trigger him, call him Gavin Newsom. That bothers him. If you want to trigger him, tell the truth about the highest taxes, the worst schools, the most incompetent government, the deficits that he has. And then if you really want to trigger him, talk about empty fire hydrants and reservoirs in the Pacific Palisades, and he will lose it.
Yeah, it's Newsom. It's Newsom, obviously, who's losing it. No, it's Hannity, who won't shut up about Newsom, who's getting upset. How dare you talk like this? How dare you mock Donald Trump? You can't do that. Donald Trump is God King. I think it's hilarious, too, that Newsom wants to pretend that California has the worst schools when it's states like Oklahoma, right? Red states that tend to be less educated, less healthy, poorer, certainly more federally subsidized. And California, for all its faults, and like any state, California absolutely has its issues. It's the economic powerhouse of the country, infinitely more economically powerful than any red state, including Texas and Florida. It's the fourth biggest economy in the world. So I don't know if you want to go there, to say nothing of the fact that California is a donor state. Without it, red states would suffer because they depend on the tax dollars going into the federal government from California. So again, we can do this all day. There's plenty to pick red states or on red states about that. Quite frankly, I think Democrats should start doing more often. You want to talk shit about California and New York? Feel free, but we could talk shit about, again, all the issues that red states have, and we have a lot more to talk about. So that was Hannity getting triggered by his ex-BFF Newsom continuing to troll Trump. Here's Tomi Lahren, who has repeatedly gone out of her way to try to dunk on Newsom and fails every single time, stepping on rakes.
Well, first of all, Sean, I would like to give a little wave to Gavin because you know he's watching. He is obsessed with Fox News. I don't blame him. We have a great network. But, you know, he watches everything that we do when he's, of course, not on X. But he has turned his hand gestures into Twitter fingers to distract from the dismal failure of his state of California. And, Sean, he often likes to tout that California is the fourth largest economy in the world. We don't want to take anything away from California and all of its resources, its great academic institutions. Of course, it's got Hollywood, it's got Silicon Valley.
And yet she actually contradicts Hannity right then and there by saying what she says. She acknowledges, actually, they are an economic powerhouse, and you were shit talking their schools, but they have excellent academic institutions, and they do. Some of the best universities in the country, certainly better than those to be found in red states. So again, what are they talking about here? She says, oh, he's watching Fox News. No, you guys are obsessively going after him, and he's responding and dunking on you, which prompts you to just double down and, go after him some more. I mean, we covered in previous videos all the attacks that Tomi Lahren has tried to initiate against Governor Newsom, and she gets ratioed. I mean, just humiliated, even on right-wing Twitter. She goes on to continue to complain about Newsom in another clip.
He had a podcast with Marshawn Lynch trying to do culture and sports. Now he's trying to be Trump Jr. We don't know what we're going to get from this man, but it's not going to be authentic. He plays a role. He plays a part. Hollywood's in his backyard. Go there, be an influencer, do an OnlyFans, whatever you want to do, Gavin, but stop leading your state into the ground. That is what the people of your state are asking from you, not another podcast.
She wants Gavin Newsom to be on OnlyFans? That's interesting. I mean, Governor Newsom's press office should pounce on that one. I mean, she's like, yeah, Newsom, you should become an influencer, be an OnlyFans. Like, send me the link to your OnlyFans. Like, let me know what subscription models you have. Like, I could give you some, recommendations on, what pictures you could put up, Gavin. Totally, from this angle, things, look really, really great. Maybe you should start it, tomorrow, Gavin. You're such a loser, Gavin. I'll be your first subscriber to, your OnlyFans account, Gavin. It's like, lady, calm down. Relax, all right? So Tomi Lahren, of course, she's still very triggered by Gavin Newsom. But you know who actually might be more triggered than either Hannity or Tomi Lahren? This guy, Mark Levin, okay? I've got a couple of clips of him. He's not happy with Newsom.
To figure it out, it's really quite simple. And not only is it Donald Trump, his personality, his charisma, it's Donald Trump, the success. Success in business, success in politics. He's a massive success. He's a winner. That's what's changing everything. Gavin Newsom is a loser. He's a buffoon. He's a clown. A little dab won't do him. No.
Sounds really convincing. I mean, Trump, yes, he's won the presidency twice. He lost re-election, which is rare, right? I mean, it's not looking, well, it's pretty common, I suppose, I guess, for Republican politicians. He lost the popular vote twice, barely squeaked a popular vote win in his third election run. He's the least popular president in history, with the possible exception of himself in his first term. I mean, Trump has obviously had some success, there's no doubt about it, but also in the business world, multiple bankruptcies, multiple high-profile business failures, bankrupted casinos, Trump University, Trump Steak, one failed business venture after another. We could also talk about the failure of his policies. Talk about that. Inflation's rising on his watch. What are the? I mean, Newsom got elected. Newsom beat a recall election. Where's Newsom the failure? So again, we'll get to that in a second, but I want to close with one more Mark Levin clip.
I personally hope he is the nominee. Such a loser. It's a sanctuary state, California, one of 13, by the way. Sanctuary state. I've talked at length about this whole idea of nullification and the neo-Confederacy, and that Gavin Newsom is a nullifier, and he's a Confederate. Oh, yes, he's a Confederate. Apparently so brilliant are my comments that others are repeating them now. But he's a nullifier, and he's a Confederate, a good old Democrat who pretends to be a progressive.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about there. The Confederate states largely are red southern states, Republican southern states who support Trump. You're much more likely to see a Confederate flag at a Trump rally than a Newsom rally. It's kind of strange. And Levine says, I sure hope he's the nominee. He's such a loser. Why are you so grumpy about it then? If you really want Newsom to be the nominee because you think he'd be easy pickings, you'd be celebrating this. You'd be joyful. None of you guys seem to be particularly joyful. It seems like you're triggered that Newsom is making fun of your cult leader. I think that's hilarious. So in terms of the success, how is he doing? Well, let's defer to CNN data analyst Harry Enton. See what Harry Enton has to say.
I absolutely think it's showing signs of working. And let's take a look at the voters who know Gavin Newsom best. Those voters out in California, those California Democrats. California Democrats and Newsom for governor. You go back to 2023, just 35% wanted him to run for president. Look at the percentage now who are excited for a run for president for Gavin Newsom. What is that? That's a 40 point climb. My goodness gracious, a rising tide of support for Gavin Newsom. Remember, back in 2023, the majority of Democrats did not want Joe Biden to run for another term, but California Democrats in Gavin Newsom's home state did not want him to run either. And now 75% are excited for him to run. And more than that, he's getting a higher percentage of the vote than Kamala Harris in her home state. He is beating the former vice president, who, of course, was the Democratic nominee in 2024. As I said, a rising tide of support for the California governor.
And we always say it's very early to be looking at 2028 polling. But why is California polling so important?
Why is it so important? Because I want you to take a look. It's one of those benchmarks, the home state polling for presidential candidates. If they can't win the primary in their home state, they ain't going to win anywhere. What are we talking about? Pres nominees and home state primaries. All of them won. All the nominees won. And all of them led in the early polls. So, yes, winning California is not tantamount to winning the nomination, but it is one of those stepping stones that you have to make it to if you, in fact, want to win the nomination historically. And, of course, in California, it has the most delegates out of any of the states that, of course, take part in the Democratic primary.
How are things looking nationally for Democrats?
Okay, so we're looking at the states, right? We're looking at Gavin Newsom's home state, but how about nationally? Does what we're seeing in California translate nationally? Chance of being the 2028 Democratic nominee, according to the prediction markets. Back on June 1st, before all this strategy, before all this confrontation with Donald Trump, you saw Gavin Newsom 11%, AOC at 10%, Buttigieg at 8%. Look at where Gavin Newsom has shot up to now, 27%. Now is the clear front runner, not at 50% plus, but still the clear front runner, at least according to the prediction markets. What we're seeing in California isn't staying in California, at least at this particular.
There you go, folks. Again, it's entirely possible the momentum doesn't carry. It's entirely possible Newsom doesn't run. It's entirely possible that he does run, but he doesn't win the primary. It's entirely possible he wins the primary and doesn't win the general election. All these permutations are possible, but as of right now, it sure seems like he's going to run. And at least right now, it's paying dividends. And we're going to play in a different clip, a different video. Jessica Tarlov of Fox News makes the case it's also reaping in the rewards financially for his cause. So there you have it. MAGA Fox News hosts continue to get triggered as Bill Maher sends Newsom his flowers, and CNN's Harry Enton says the initial results are looking really good for Newsom. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.